All right, welcome back. In the last session, we installed the 5-second lag. We gave you the brakes. We gave you the ability to stop the train before it crashes. But now, we have to ask a more dangerous question. Why is the train running on its track in the first place? Why do you feel drained the moment you walk into your office? Why do you feel anxiety the second your phone chimes? Why does seeing a specific person instantly drop your frequency? That's a very important question. And it's because you are not operating in a vacuum. You are operating in a web of triggers. In neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, we call these anchors. Okay, some of you may be familiar with NLP. In the system, we call them control nodes. Okay, same thing, two different names. So the anchor is a stimulus response. It's a link. Stimulus response link. Okay. It is a button that the external world presses to get a specific reaction out of you. And right now, your life is full of buttons that you did not install. Think of a ship. Okay, you can have the strongest engine in the world. You can have the best captain, the architects say. You can have the best map, the best blueprint. But if the anchor is stuck in the mud at the bottom of the ocean, that ship ain't moving. You will rev that engine, you will burn it, run it till it runs out of fuel, and you'll burn that engine up. You will burn it up, but you will stay in the exact same place. All right? That's why you're burning out. This is why positive thinking fails. This is why motivation runs out. Because you are trying to drive with a parking brake on or a fucking anchor dragging in the bottom of the ocean, pulling all the mud with it. Okay, today we're going to dive under the water. We're going to look at the mud and we're going to map every single anchor that is tethered to your frequency, that is tethering your frequency to lack. And the code is tethered to them anchors. We are. We're not cutting them. Okay, so we're not cutting them yet. That comes in course 2, the deletion protocol. Today, we are simply finding them. We're going to find them. We're going to mark them because you can't delete what you can't see. It's stages. Okay, we're going to turn the lights on in the basement. The physics of association. Okay, let's look at the mechanics. How does an anchor form? It's a biological law. Neurons that fire together wire together. We've heard that before, right? If you sit in a specific chair every time you feel depressed, your brain links that chair to the depression. Okay? Eventually, you don't even need to be sad. You just go have a sit in a chair, and there your biohardware releases all you lose energy because the chemicals of sadness keep rushing in. This chair becomes the trigger. The system knows. The system relies on this. The system designs your environment to keep you in a holding pattern. Point blank. Look. Okay. Look at your phone. The notification sound. Ding. What happens? Dopamine. Like that. Anxiety. Urgency. That sound is an auditory anchor. It is a leash. It yanks your consciousness out of the quantum field and slams it back into the 3D matrix. All right. Most people are living in a minefield of these anchors. They walk into the kitchen, just say. They walk into the kitchen and they feel stressed because that's where they argue. They drive to work and they feel fatigued because that's where they get that's where they slave away in traffic. And at work, they look at the bank account, at their bank app on their phone, and they feel fear because that's where the lack code lives. You are navigating the geography of trauma and imitation without a map. No wonder you're exhausted. You have constantly reacting. You are steadily reacting to invisible tripwires. The architect does not react to the environment. The architect designs the environment. But before we can redesign it, we have to audit the current layout. We have to perform anchor mapping. All right. We need to identify 3 types of anchors. Excuse me, sorry. Spatial, location, relational, people, object sensory, things and sound. Ding, 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 ding. All right. Part 3. Spatial and relationship mapping. Relational mapping. Okay. You pick up a pen or point to a. Let's start with spatial anchors. Your home is not neutral. It is charged with memory. Walking through your house, in your mind right now, where do you usually scroll on your phone? Where do you usually worry about money? Where do you usually fight with your partner? If you try to create a new reality while sitting in the worry chair, you are fighting an uphill battle against your own biology. The geography is hostile. Okay, here we go. I want you to identify the dead zone. These are places in your physical reality where your energy drops. Maybe it's the clutter on the desk. Maybe, just maybe, it's the unwashed car. These are not, they are not just mess. They are low frequency broadcasters. They are constantly emitting a signal of chaos and lack into your visual field. Okay? Now, let's talk about relational anchors. This is the hardest part for people. This is the hardest part to accept. Some people in your life are anchors to your old persona. Okay? Did you hear that right? They know the old you. They speak to the old you. They expect the old you to answer. Okay, that's where we have an issue. When you try to change, when you try to access the architect, they pull on the chain. They say, who do you think you are? Why are you acting so different? They are the system's immune response trying to pull you back in line. You don't you don't have to cut everyone off yet, but you must map them. You must identify who raises my voltage and who drains my voltage. Who is an anchor to the future and who is an anchor to the past. If you sinned, I'm sorry. Okay. If you spend 80% of your time with people who anchor you to your past, you cannot build a future. It is physics. Okay. So here's where we get the focus. Here's the protocol. Draw on the map. Okay. For this lesson, we're going to get tactical. I want you to physically get a piece of paper, a notebook, and draw a map of your environment. Okay, your living room, your kitchen, wherever, your office. I mean, a paper and a pen. Draw your bedroom, draw your kitchen, your office, your car. Okay, the heat map. Walk through the space physically. Physically, walk through it. Feel the energy. Where do you feel heavy? Mark it with an X. Where do you feel light and creative? Mark it with a circle. Where do you feel distracted? Mark it with a squiggly line. All right. Be honest. Be brutally honest. If your bed is where you scroll social media for 2 hours every morning, mark it as a distraction zone. You have been anchored, dopamine addicted, to your place of rest. That is a crosswire. The audit. All right. Look at the X's. Look at the negative anchors. Everywhere you put a X, what is the trigger? Okay. Is it a pile of unpaid bills on the counter? Is it a broken door handle you haven't fixed in 6 months? Broken things represent poverty consciousness. Remember that. Is it a gift from an ex partner, that carries emotional weight? Every object, listen, every object in your field of view is fighting for your attention. If an object anchors you to a negative emotion, it is a frequency leak. It is draining your battery just by sitting there. You think you might think you're ignoring it. You're not. Your subconscious mind is processing it 24/7. Fix the door, pay the bill. Remember that fight? It is noise. And we need to silence the noise to hear the signal. All right? You still with me? Once you have your map, you'll see the truth. You will see that you are not lazy or unfocused. You will see that you're living in a cage of triggers designed to keep you small. Okay, here's your assignment before the next lesson. I don't expect you to burn the house down, okay? Don't go that far, okay? I want you to clean, to create one clean zone. Find one corner, one chair, one desk, clear it. Remove everything, every single object that anchors you to the past. Remove the phone, Remove the bills, remove the photos. Okay? Make it empty. Make it sterile. How about that? All right, this is your clean room. This is the only place you are allowed to do your architect work. When you sit there, you do not scroll, do not worry, do not argue when you're there. You only create. That's it. You are going to build a positive thinker. Okay? You are going to you're going to teach your nervous system that this specific spot equals high vibration. So that eventually, just sitting in that chair will automatically trigger the architect state. All right? This is your homework. Draw the map. Draw the map of your home, your space, your car, workspace, all of that good stuff. Mark the negative anchors, the X's. The X's and O's with the X's. Establish one clean zone, free of all past associations, completely. We are indexing the biohardware. We are finding the leaks. In the next session, we are going to perform a frequency audit. We're going to calculate exactly how much energy we're losing to these anchors every single day. So the ship is about to move. But first, we see the chains. Get to mapping.